Alright, so today I'm showing everybody what I think is the most efficient meth lab setup for the barn. So we have sections here in the center of all of our chemistry stations and our ovens. With the latest little tweak before the update, he increased it to where each chemist can work on 4 separate benches instead of 3. So now they do a perfect pair of 2 chemistry benches and 2 ovens each. I have 3 individual chemists running this entire line up here. They come directly over to our mixing stations, and you can do as many mixing stations as you want. Right now I have this set up to where I can only use 2 chemists, and then the rest of the spaces are filled by handlers. These 2 chemists run all 4 of these on either side each, and this comes out to be a fairly profitable mix for methamphetamine. Now you could also combine these two to run 8 consecutive mixing stations and just put your 2 chemists working on the same mix. I find that it's better for production to have 2 separate lineups, and they each feed into one brick press. So by the time each of these lines finishes, it'll come over and immediately make a brick, gets thrown over onto a shelf. So the way we have our line set up here, each of our chemists work on these 2 benches side by side. Each bench directly leads into the oven, so they'll finish cooking here, throw it into the oven, same thing all the way down the line, and as soon as these ovens finish, the first 3 of these ovens will go to this side, the second 3 of these ovens will go to this side. Now we're feeding both sides with 3 separate ovens at a time, should keep this going pretty consistently. Storage racks for these, you can technically have a handler refill each of the benches, but I find if you set one of each different ingredient to one of these benches, you're going to end up having multiples of one of them instead of one of each, which then is just going to stop this from being productive anyways. So you can do that if you would like, but I find it's just easier to come down every couple of days, every third day, and just restock them. You can put 10 of each in here, so you'll get 10 full batches of meth. They take like 5 minutes just to make on the chemistry bench, and then an additional like 5 minutes to bake. So it'll take a few days before you actually use all 10 of each. If you keep a steady supply like so, you can always come back down, grab a handful whenever you stop by to pick up your merchandise, your product, and go ahead and drop them back in here to refill the line. Other than that, I have all the chemistry benches set to be refilled by handlers. So I have the primary racks here. This is where they take from to fill each of the chemistry stations. So gasoline, cuke, battery, and then megabean. And I have all 4 of each of these racks set to refill these ones. So when somebody comes over and takes 20 gasoline off this rack to load up one of the chemistry stations, or the mixing stations, another handler will come down and grab 20 off of one of these racks and replace it. The reason I do this is because testing this previously, I had it set up to where I was actually utilizing less handlers, only having one of each shelf, and then I could have extra chemists making extra batches of meth. Your meth production goes through the roof, but you find yourself having a hard time keeping up on your mixing stations because unless you're sitting here or sleeping here every single night, you're going to run out of these supplies basically in a day. As soon as these are gone, they stop mixing, which means all your meth production will go until they fill up, and then everything is stopped until this catches back up again. So in order to keep up better with the chemistry station or the mixing station and prevent yourself from having to make additional trips back and forth to the gas station or consistently ordering deliveries, I have the additional 4 racks to refill this. Whenever I stop by to pick up product, I'll take a look over here and check what the stock is at. Once these get down to fairly low or down to like the last rack, then I'll go ahead and order a delivery, and I might take a van up to the gas station, load it up a few times, come back, and I'll just refill every one of these racks. Again, that'll give me, this could be 4 or 5, maybe 6 days before I would have to come back and worry about resources again. By that point, we should have produced tons of bricks, probably close to a full stack, I would imagine, if not a little bit more. And that's just here at the barn. This was all 10 employees in what I would consider to be the most effective layout to maintain it being automatically done for you. So instead of having to manually do it, which would increase your meth output, keep in mind, if you're trying to maximize how much meth you can produce at once, it would be best to maximize how many chemistry benches and how many mixing stations you have. So you'd have very little to no handlers, but then you would have to manually restock every bench and every mixing station. So keep that in mind. This is more for just automation. I'll only have to come back down here every few days, pick up my product, make sure I don't have to restock these shelves over here. And other than that, I can just go about my day doing as I wish. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this kind of content, we are currently in the middle of making another video to show what I would consider to be the most efficient warehouse setup. And we'll be making one additional one for a pot grow at the bungalow if you'd like to diversify and have one of each of the products coming out. So keep an eye open, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.